Let's talk about the next biggest story, which is Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Um, so Bitcoin, if you've been watching, has been on a tear.
Yep.
It's been on a tear, obviously, for since Donald Trump got elected, but really, over the last couple of days with the government shutdown, that's helped it out a lot as well. And we see Bitcoin passing all-time highs and reaching $125,000, a key psychological mark that it had failed to break in the past. And JP Morgan, I say that they actually put a report that is actually devalued, undervalued, and real price should be $160,000. So Bitcoin thrives as people lose confidence in central governments and people lose confidence in
For
central
sure.
currencies. And government shutdown doesn't help to give confidence in either one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So you see that as inflation is rising, as government spending continues to go up, as government debt continues to
To
increase,
rise. Yep.
as government instability continues to increase, um, Bitcoin's price continues to go up. That's helpful for Bitcoin
Mm-hmm.
and cryptocurrency space in general. But we're talking about Bitcoin right now. So Bitcoin, I know I thought that Bitcoin was going to have a good year. It was actually my stock of the year,
Yeah, it
even though it's not
definitely
a
was.
stock.
That
Mm-hmm.
and MicroStrategy.
Um, All time high, yeah. MicroStrategy's climbing back too.
Hmm.
Um, so okay, now Bitcoin's back on everybody's talking board. Uh,
Shame on them if it left their
It
talking board.
shouldn't have
well,
left.
Yeah, when
well, a
this.
lot of the crypto enthusiasts thought that Bitcoin was gonna fall back. That was a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of Instagram pages as far
Why?
as like resistance levels. I saw everything from resistance levels to trends to timeline of traditional. It's all kind. They came up with all kinds of different theories, but a lot of people felt like it was going to fall back into a lower 100 range and even potentially go lower than 100,
To 80.
which could still, which but right
Yeah.
now it's done the opposite of that. It's actually moved forward, not
Yeah.
backwards. So Bitcoin, for all the Bitcoin enthusiasts, all the Bitcoin maxi, and we're gonna talk to them with the biggest Bitcoin maxi in a little bit. But what's the deal with Bitcoin?
Number one, I said it on the show. Everyone who was calling for it to go to 85 or 80,000, it was not going to happen. There's a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of macro factors, like you said, government instability, debt is at the highest that it's ever been in consumer and enterprise levels. Debt to GDP is high. Warren Buffett indicators at 200%. The value of the dollar, which has fallen so much this year. This is like, and everyone is having uncertainty in the employment market. It's the one asset that you can look at as a token, no pun intended, token of safety to get high returns in an incredibly pessimistic marketplace. And someone asked me this past weekend, BlackRock has an ETF and Paul Tudor Jones parked a lot of money into the ETF, and why hasn't Vanguard done the same? The prices went up so much that even now Vanguard, I don't know if it's public, I think so. Vanguard is coming out with an ETF at either end of this year or top of next year because they don't want to miss out on servicing their clients properly and then potentially losing them to BlackRock. So this trend is not going away. I think the next target that we should hit is 130, 331 to the upside, and then probably by January or March of next year, we should be at 154, 516. But when the banks, institutions, governments, fund of funds are in an asset, now's not the time to short it. And you can argue that Bitcoin and AI are the only two things that are keeping the market up. So why are you shorting the asset that is driving the market higher? And I'm gonna be honest, respectfully, humbly. I know y'all out the country. I just came from back out of the country, so I'm in peaceful vibes. I Everyone doesn't have the same technicals. I'm gonna toot my
Mhm.
horn. I'm one of the greatest ever to touch a chart. So if I'm telling you it's not, then this is Mike Novogratz. He told y'all 2020. Yo, you as a retail investor, you have hedge fund levels. We're nowhere near close going back to 85. If so, I'll be one of the first to call it. It's not going to happen anytime soon. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. A hell of a return from 20,000 when I called on everybody said, we're going to go there. Shouts Chris Johnson, gang gang. But Bitcoin probably won't slow down for the next 2 to 3 months for sure, and stop shorting the assets that
Yeah,
governments, institutions have their balance sheet tied to.
yeah. I would say just be careful of there. Because I feel like we've had these conversations. I think you had it at 140. I had it at like 137 by the end of the year when we had a prediction of where we saw
Yep.
it going. If you study, even if you study from a technical level, great. But like you said, be careful of they and where you get your information from. Just studying the halving cycle of Bitcoin and what it does the year before it halves, right, and the year after it halves,
Mm-hmm.
you can see that this wouldn't be the year. Even if you thought there would be a pullback that would be substantial, it wouldn't be in this year, which is the year after having, because it had last year in 2024. But all those factors that Shadi mentioned, all the factors that you're mentioning, is the reason why this is an asset class that you have to have, right? Like at this point, there isn't a disbelief that hey, we're dropping that down to 30,000, 40,000. When you look at the institutional investment that has been put in it, we just read yesterday from JP Morgan. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, JP Morgan, this is now your stance after all this time. This is now your stance.
Mm-hmm.
The ETFs that are coming online that have exposure to not just Bitcoin but Ethereum. I actually just bought some shares in an ETF. Shout out to our investment team in EYLU. Austin, he's been on here before. Just a genius when it comes to it. We're looking at an unprecedented investment. Now, a lot of times we think obviously the US economy, but from a global scale, right? Like this
Mm-hmm.
is the one asset class that everybody has access to. Most people can't trade US equities, right? Because obviously if you're from a different country, it becomes extremely difficult. I
It's
remember
tough.
talking to our guys in Canada, like, yo, how y'all doing these options? How does this work? I'm like, you have a brokerage account? They were like, wait, how does that even work? And so when you think about that, what is the asset class that they can invest in from anywhere?
Yeah. And just to be very honest, long-term assets are not meant to be shorted. Like I love the Big Short. Shout to Steve Eastman. Shout to Michael Burry. But that was a once in a lifetime trade. You would make a lot more money just holding things for the long period of time, 5 years, 10 years, opposed to looking to short it. Now's not the time. And then a key term, institutional adoption cycles. Even when it was at 65, I said it was going to 20. There was probably 60% less institutional involvement at that time versus what's there now. The final Infinity Stone is really just the Vatican investing into it. You have everybody else. You have Van Eck, you got Piper, you got BlackRock, Vanguard's coming on board. Now is not the time to say, well, I'm going to short Rome's the last Infinity Stone. It's
Yeah. Can
over
they
with.
stop? And can we stop trolling? Can we just stop the trolling when it comes to like AMD runs up to a number? All right, time to short it. I'm like, can we?
It
We're just
doesn't work
saying
that
shit.
way. It doesn't work that way
Yeah.
because what you're saying is my $50,000 or $100,000 into the short is going to overpower the 200 or 300 billion that hedge funds have to go long on this. And you're also battling algos, not just the ones on TradingView, but the
You know,
ones that BlackRock have with Aladdin. That's
and you
not
don't have the
working.
time. Like the amount of time that you're going to put into these shorts, like it just
Mm-mm.
doesn't. Good luck though. Good luck.